D-Day plus 75 years, and it was on this date in 1944 that radio sounded like this.
Great fleets of over 100 gliders have gone overhead, towed by C-47 transports, who are certainly proving the workhorses of this invasion. They've hauled them right over the beaches, and the second batch are droning over now. I can see them. They're casting off the gliders as they circle around over the beach.
That's one reporter describing the D-Day landing at Normandy. The message from General Eisenhower was this on that day.
People of Western Europe, a landing was made this morning on the coast of France by troops of the Allied Expeditionary Force. This landing is part of the concerted United Nations plan for the liberation of Europe, made in conjunction with our great Russian allies. I have this message for all of you. Although the initial assault may not have been made in your own country, the hour of your liberation is approaching.
General Dwight Eisenhower announcing the D-Day invasion. And 75 years later, President Trump in France to commemorate the 75th anniversary of D-Day. After a ceremony at Normandy, Mr. Trump met with French President Emmanuel Macron in the port city of Caen. Before their meeting, the president said Normandy is something Americans hear about over their entire lives.
There are those that say it was the most important ever, not just at that time, but ever. And to be a part of it and to have number 75 years was very, very special.
President Trump, and he delivered a heartfelt speech in Normandy on the 75th anniversary of the D-Day landings. More from ABC's Tom Rivers at the Normandy American Cemetery today.
The president hit the right tone in honoring the Allied troops who stormed the beaches here on June the 6th, 1944.
To the men who sit behind me and to the boys who rest in the field before me, your example will never, ever grow old.
The invasion, a key turning point that eventually led to the Allied victory in World War II. Tom Rivers, ABC News, Normandy.
The semi-tanker truck driver who was critically injured in a Tuesday morning crash has been identified as 43-year-old William Ellant of Pine River. According to the Marathon County Sheriff's Department, Ellant was ejected through a window of the semi-tanker he was driving after it rolled over on Highway 29 at Highway 13. Ellant is currently receiving treatment at the Marshfield Medical Center, where he is still listed in serious condition. That crash held up traffic in the early morning hours of Tuesday. The crash remains under investigation. Well, a package of bills that would restrict abortions in Wisconsin is now headed to the governor's desk after votes in the state Senate yesterday. One of the bills would stop women from seeking abortions based on demographics. Republican Senator Pat Teston of Stevens Point says the bill is about equal rights.
What we have before you is an opportunity to make a stand here in the state of Wisconsin that we will not allow abortions based on an individual's sex, gender, and potential disability.
Democrat Senator Lena Taylor said the GOP's concern over discrimination in abortions is outlandish.
But the hypocrisy and the racist policies that get done in this building, to hear those words is insulting.
The most prominent of the bills would require doctors to perform life-saving procedures on any baby that survives an abortion. Governor Evers has already said he will veto all of those bills. A group of Republican state senators propose a roads funding plan. That's what Bob Haig tells us about today.
With the Joint Finance Committee set to consider transportation funding, this $133 million plan includes $1 million for each county and $1,000 per mile for town roads. Senator Howard Markline.
They've been falling behind for a long time, and I believe this is a way for them to catch up and level the playing field a bit.
Jerry Deshane with the League of Municipalities municipalities noting there's nothing for cities and villages.
We're glad they're talking about specific solutions. We look forward to working with them on a solution that's more fair.
Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald called the plan laudable, but said it should be considered separately from the transportation budget.
The head of the University of Wisconsin system is pleading with lawmakers for more money invested in more capital. That's what correspondent Terry Bell tells us today.
System President Ray Cross says newer buildings and classrooms would attract more students and better faculty. Republicans rejected Governor Evers' capital budget in March. Cross says that included more than $1 billion to renovate UW buildings across Wisconsin.
Right now, employers are screaming at us. You need to create more graduates, develop more talent. We are a talent supplying entity.
The Joint Finance Committee could revisit the capital budget as early as next week. Terry Bell, Wisconsin Radio Network.
And that's a news update from AM 1450 WDLB.